here, guys. Now, Justin...
Nice to see you guys.
And you too. Thank you for having us.
It's nice to have you guys.
This is your actually first time on the One Show,
It is, yes, indeed, I know.
You're a bit nervous?
I am a bit nervous, yes. I'm used to recording all over the place and recording, pre-recorded bits.
Well, you know what? You shouldn't be, because it's fair to say, isn't it? You are easily one of the most successful children's TV presenters. I mean, you are like basically the man, the face of CBeebies.
Oh, well, that's very kind, thank you. I've been working now for 25 years in children's TV and still going strong.
Absolutely.
But, absolutely passionate about it. I love creating new shows, new characters, and some of my shows are like Something Special. We're just talking about. That's nearly 20 years old now.
I mean, it's fantastic. And understandably, we've got lots of fans of yours in the audience tonight.
Hi, guys.
Big smiles on their faces.
Hello, how are you?
But you've got fans amongst royalties. Oh, my God.
Hello, back. Is it slightly embarrassing that we don't know the words?
Oh, don't worry.
That's fine, that's fine.
I'll teach you some signs later.
Definitely after the show.
Absolutely.
Fans in the audience, but fans amongst royalty as well.
Oh,
we hear.
Yeah, I mean, we do a lot of festivals and live shows. I love doing live shows because you get to meet your audience quite often when you're filming in TV studios, and you don't see the lovely support you get from the audience. So yeah, that's why. In fact, I'm just out touring at the moment. We do lots of live festivals. Family festivals are really popular now. Yeah, we do lovely big audiences.
We hear the royal family love you, and Miriam, you were a big fan of a particular member of the royal family growing up. Is it true that you had pictures of the Queen on your bedroom wall when you were growing up?
I had a little room that was called the den, and I had the Queen plastered all over the den. Because I didn't know her then, but I liked her, you know. I thought she was interesting and very good role model. Well, she is, isn't she?
Absolutely.
Where were you during the coronation?
I was in Oxford, where I come from. I was at school, and I remember looking out of my bedroom window the night of the coronation and saying, I must never forget this. And I never have.
You make it sound slightly scary.
Well, I thought it was important, but that I was alive for the coronation.
Absolutely right.
And I'm still alive, amazingly.
You're very much alive. You look fantastic. Right, we'll be chatting to you both later. Miriam, we're talking about your new play, and Justin, you're returning to the big screen in Shaun the Sheep, the movie Farmageddon.
It's a good one. We've both seen
Fantastic.
it, haven't we? And we have to talk about your latest project. It's been 5 years, hasn't it, since we saw Shaun the Sheep on the big screen.
Yes.
He's back with a new sci-fi sidekick. Tell us more.
Well, and I have him right here.
Is that actually Shaun?
We're very lucky. This is actually Shaun right here
Can I
from the
touch
movie.
it?
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Some gasps from the
made
audience.
of plasticine. Isn't he amazing? Beautiful work from the Aardman team.
Yeah.
I mean, I do the easy bit, really. The heroes are the animators, because, as you say, it takes years to make one of these movies, and it's all done frame by frame, moving, the body just slightly, then taking one frame on the camera, then going back, moving, and so on.
But who's the sidekick?
Well, the sidekick is Lula.
She's so cute.
Yes, Lula is the new character, and she's from another planet. And Shaun, she arrives at the farm, and Shaun and the flock look after her. They take her under their wing, and the mischief and the fun, and it's actually very poignant as well, the movie. It's got a lot of nods to various famous sci-fi films as well.
Yeah, like E.T., there's all that sort of thing. We'll come back to that. But,
yeah, absolutely.
It was worth the wait. It was worth waiting. Intrigue the adults as well, the parents as well as the children, with those old school references.
And the clever thing is it's an 86-minute movie, and there's not one word in it, yet it can captivate the audience, young and old. That's a real testament to the kind of slapstick comedy era, which was just timeless. The Laurel and Hardy and Keaton and Chaplin, and I think Aardman, it's hard enough to do it in live action form. I know that from my own characters, but to do it, actually in an animated form is even harder. And yet Aardman seemed to capture that, you know, that magic and that warmth that we all love from the characters like Shaun and Wallace 10 years ago. And I met Nick Park, and he said to me, "Oh, OK, try..." So Shaun's being pulled along by a mower across this, you know, stretch of grass, and so I was kind of trying these kind of, you know, and this kind of, you know, and it was quite kind of cartoony.
I love that. Can you do that again?
So good.
Wow.
Terrific.
And I think that's what Aardman like. They like the kind of human voices rather than the kind of produced voices that you can kind of...
Talking about voices, I mean, Miriam, you've notoriously voiced Fly the collie dog in Babe, the film.
Oh, wow.
Wasn't there something of a mishap with the accent?
A mishap? No, I don't think it was a mishap. No, it was a border collie, you see, and I had a border collie. It was a Scottish border collie. So I gave a little Scottish accent. But in America, and they were the people who were the paymasters, they couldn't understand it. So I had to fly back to Australia and revoice it as a sort of mid-Atlantic border collie. A bit like in the middle of the Irish Sea with all
It's funny because I'm sure you'll agree, you're quite often in the voice recording booth just on your own.
Yeah.
You don't actually meet the rest of the cast until, like...
No, it's lonely, isn't it? I like being with other people.
A lady of many parts, and a lot of people will know you from things like Harry Potter and Call the Midwife, but your latest production is... it came about in a slightly more low-key way. It landed on your doorstep. Literally.
Yes, 9 years ago, this wonderful script arrived, and I don't normally read unsolicited scripts, but I just thought I'd have a go. So I went to the loo, took it with me, and I stayed on the loo for ages reading that script.
Miriam. But, I mean, literally through the letterbox.
Well, yeah, that's how it usually comes, yes.
I don't know. I don't know.
Letters come through, and it came in a letter like that, and I just thought, gosh, I want to do that. And it took me 9 years to get it to be done.
What had you so glued, though? Because the character that you play is Nell, isn't it? And
yes.
You've described her as refreshingly awful, but tell us...
She's awful. She's horrible. And it's quite nice playing a nasty person. And she has a son, and she hates her son, and her son hates her. So just like family life, really. So
And the name of the play, Sydney and the Old Girl. That's
Sydney and the Old Girl. I'm the old girl.
Oh, OK, OK.
And is it right you do a Cockney accent?
I do a Cockney accent, love, yeah.
What's your...
Yeah, well, it's like that, isn't it? I mean, she lives in the East End of London, don't she? And, I mean, I've got a very posh voice, I know that, and I hate my voice. I hate it. But every now and again, I get a chance to be somebody like this, and I like it. I like it a lot.
It must be quite fun, though. I mean, Justin, for you, obviously, your characters are bold, bubbly, positive. Do you ever feel like you just want to flip reverse it and play like a really evil character?
Well, I do
Vader.
panto. I do panto every year.
Do you?
I usually... Yeah.
What,
Oh,
who
yes,
are
I
you?
do. Well, Buttons or the kind of audience friend. But I tell you what,
Buttons.
Captain Hook would be a good one, wouldn't it, in
Yes.
Peter Pan? I think I could...
You're too nice to be
bit of a...
Captain Hook.
Ha-ha!
Do it again. I'd cast him, wouldn't you?
Now, Call the Midwife returns for a Christmas special, Shaun the Sheep
Yes,
extended family.
I want to tell you, I'm wearing a wimple in Call Midwife.
Oh, really? I thought you meant right now.
I'm a nun.
OK.
Yeah.
And you filmed it in the Outer Hebrides, is
Yes.
that right?
Wow.
Very cold.
Was it as cold as it...
Very beautiful. It's one of the most beautiful places I've ever been.
Look,
And I
there's
just want
Shaun,
to say...
Shaun, no, there he is.
all
at the
his
front.
mates.
Yes. There's a sheep.
Wow,
We like
They were a
sheep.
damn nuisance, they were. My director is brilliant, by the way, Philip Breen. I promised him I would say that.
So you've been busier than ever, really, haven't you, Miriam?
Yes, they haven't found me out yet, so I'm very lucky.
Is it
and
nice to
I'm
be
doing a series on obesity, about which I know a great deal, being a very fat person. You're not slim, are you? Though?
That's outrageous. I think you look terrific.
He's lovely.
thank you.
He's lovely. Of course he is.
You feel these? Are this the 3 docs that you've done in Australia? You've done lots of documentaries.
I've done one documentary in Australia called Miriam Margolyes, Almost an Australian. And I go round upsetting people, basically, and finding out if I can fit in that amazing, extraordinary country.
In a gentle and affectionate way, you upset
Yes,
people, I'm sure.
always gentle and affectionate.
You can see Miriam in Sydney and the Old Girl at the Park Theatre in London from the 31st of October.
Now, Miriam, one of your Christmas traditions is to perform your one-woman show, Dickens Women, where you play 23 characters from Dickens's novels. Now, fans of Justin's show Gigglebiz will know that he plays all 26 characters, 3 characters more, Miriam.
Well, he's a big boy.
And it's relieves that frustration sometimes, and it's such an important show, and it started as a tiny little educational show, 4 episodes, and here we are in its, I think 19th year.
We were talking before we came on air, and you mentioned Laurel and Hardy. I mean, that looks like pure Laurel and Hardy. It's got that sort of slapstick vibe. Were they a massive influence on you? Buster Keaton and Charlie Chaplin?
Yeah, Laurel and Hardy especially. And in fact, I know you had the guys on from Stan and Ollie recently. I thought that was an amazing film.
Wasn't it a lovely film?
Yes, wonderful.
It really was.
And I was taught by Jack Tripp.
Legend.
Oh, yes, I know. Great game.
Yes, and my very first job out of drama school was called What a Performance. It was a play about Sid Field, the music hall comedian. And David Suchet played Sid Field, and I played various kind of cameo roles.
Not a bad start.
It's all right,
and I was 22, and Jack taught me how to, fall correctly and do the double takes and, all of these kind of slapstick things.
So what is it about slapstick? You're the man to answer. What is it about slapstick that's got such universal appeal, cross cultures and also across the generations? And we're going to talk to young people.
I think it's timeless. I mean, I think, it's still that silent comedy. I mean, Shaun the Sheep is exactly like that. It's a silent comedy. And if it's done, I think it needs to look effortless. And I think if it's done in the right way, I don't think it's ever going to go out of fashion because there's nothing... I mean, I do a warm-up at the beginning of the show. I mean, kids, would you like to join in with my warm-up, maybe? OK, so we do some beeping nose. Like that. Very good. Then we're going to warm up our mouths, but no laughing. Guys, it's not funny! I'm just warming up my mouth. And things like that. It's just little bits like that. And it's great when you hear families and children really barely laugh. You can't beat it. Natural laughter.
Yeah, definitely.
It's interesting to me because I've never seen you before. I don't have children. I don't watch CBC.
No.
This man is a global phenomenon.
He really is.
He's a great big star.
Yes.
And I've never met him before. I mean, it's just
We've got some
fantastic.
fans in the audience who've been
can see
poised and
that.
ready to go for the whole show, so we've got to ask them for their questions. First up, 7-year-old Olivia, what is your...
Hi, Olivia.
How did you get the name Mr. Tumble?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, we had a little meeting, as I say, about 19 years ago about the show, and they said that there was a character called Mr. Tumble that was based loosely on a kind of an Oliver Hardy, and so we started moving the character around and adding the signs as well with the script, and the rest is history, as they say. And the original outfit came from another character called Professor Muddles, who is now part of the Gigglebiz family. So we had a tiny little budget, and so I used the Professor Muddles outfit, and that actually is Mr. Tumble's outfit.
Let's try and squeeze another one in quickly. So, 8-year-old Maddie, where's Maddie? Hey, Maddie, how you doing? What's
Hi,
your
Maddie.
question?
Who is your favourite character?
I will have to say, I think Mr. Tumble. Of course, you've got the Tumble family, you've got Grandad, and you've got Aunt Polly as well.
And Tumble Dryer. Have you got...
That's a good one. I think that could be a new one.
And you've got a cool character called Gale Force. So
Gale Force.
How long have we got left on the show? Have we got time for a quick weather update? Do you want to see a weather update? Yeah. Let's do it. Let's have your weather update.
Hello there, I'm Gale Force, and welcome to the One Show. We've had a wonderful time here today, and one big party. Hooray!
Thank you so much. That is it for tonight. Big thanks to Justin and Miriam for joining us this evening. Shaun the Sheep Farmageddon is out now, and you can see Miriam in Sydney and the Old Girl at the Park Theatre in London from the 31st of October.
Tomorrow we'll be chatting to Harry Hill. Bye, guys. Thank you so much.